Hello and welcome back to the next episode of our Resistance playthrough. I think we are heading into episode 20 already on this occasion. Hello and welcome back to our Resistance playthrough, where I'm explaining a bit more than usual because it's for new players. And we are already in episode 21. A lot of the early game we have left behind us. We are pretty much in the mid game now. And the objective is now to skyrocket a research output and get a proper fleet into the orbit of Earth and Mars to protect us against any alien aggression that might come our way. Currently it's relatively peaceful. So we have one small fleet flying towards Mars, which we can shoot down, and we have one ship transporting a new alien agent to Earth. Probably this one is... no, maybe not. We don't know. But they definitely have lost most of their agents on Earth currently. And yeah, so we should make a note for this one as well. Set an alarm here. And they are expanding heavily in the Jupiter system, which they cracked when they destroyed us with the battle cruiser. Or that was the dreadnought that destroyed us. On Earth, I'm going to follow a new plan now. Of course, it stays the same for Canada, US, and Mexico here now. But I'm going to break in earnest all the Caribbean and Central American countries now and take them over to fill our control cap here. We are going to get another 40 control points in this year. And from here, I'm not sure if I will do this first or if I first go into Brazil. I'm currently leaning towards breaking Brazil. The idea that I had in regards to Brazil is to take over the control points here, push up our public opinion, or rather just do the public opinion, and then force a coup d'etat. Or rather, force a rebellion here by increasing unrest here. Because it's currently already pretty unhealthy with a rest value of 8.9, it would only get worse if we push our publicity here as well, and then it can revolt and give the control points to us. And this would also drop inequality. I have read that this is also a pretty new opening to the US that you can do. I'm very tempted to test that out on a brutal campaign setting, maybe next campaign, where I would like to test this, but I'm not sure if I really want to do this long term. It feels a bit cheesy, but I want to test it out on Brazil if it works as expected. And that's something I'm going to, of course, show. Until then, I'm going to break a few states here until we get the plus 40 control points here, which would roughly allow us to take Brazil. Brazil currently costs 17 each, which means that's 51. So that roughly fits in the transnational coordination here with some upgrades that we do. In regards to upgrades here, I want to buy this orb here because it gives us social science and welfare, which is pretty nice to have because we know that we do have still a lot of welfare projects to do. And I'm probably going to sell something. I'm not sure where and what, but I have to sell some orc somewhere. Probably it's going to be this one here, because we no longer need the project income. Therefore, we can sell this for 400 roughly, so we do need still 700, which means that we need to spoil a bit and continue spoiling a bit until we can afford it here. But now let's continue. And the main objectives that are going to be completed in this episode is, of course, the rework of our Mars stations, where we are now going into the research campuses and the military research centers, or rather the material research centers. And also I want to get the other two energy research centers down on the second asteroid base that we have here. So the objective here is pretty simple. Get two energy research labs here. Get sufficient reactor as well. That should be fine. We can build the rest later. But this way we do have all 5 energy research centers under construction. And therefore get the total amount of 50% that we can get. We can go above it, but then the gain is extremely diminished, because once you get 50%, you always have a very diminished returns. It just says diminishing returns, but the gain is really, really steep. So you go like, instead of plus 10% from the lab, you get like 2% or something. So it's really, really steep. So going over 50% is for the moment not worth the investment. Later we might want to do this, but most importantly now is getting more research campuses up and complete our construction here. What we also should do now, and I think I'm going to use the resources that are coming in the next week for this, is getting some shipyards out. So the shipyards are relatively cheap. They only cost 0.5 in support and 4 in construction of noble metals here. But we want to get the shipyards, therefore we can get started on constructing proper ships later. And we also want a not a nano factory, but an operations center here, which we also have to keep an eye on. And therefore we can make these stations as well operation mission control neutral, and we can get started on queuing up proper ships there eventually. And that's what we want to go for now. So I'm going to complete the material research centers next, and then I'm going for the shipyards, and then we continue with the other mass bases to continue expanding mission control here. Because the idea, of course, of all that is we are currently at +1 mission control, but when the research campus finishes, we are at ±0 per hab. And that's, of course, awesome. So we don't really have any usage of mission control here for the habs. Instead, we can make more ships and so on, and therefore profit from all this. And what we now want to plan for in research-wise is to prepare a fleet. So we want to get to Jupiter again. I'm going into the particle beams to have a second weapon. I think I'm also going to go into railguns next. So the mission to Jupiter, when it's done, we're going to use to get towards the Helican drive, which is going to be our picked drive to get to Jupiter. So we need to go into high energy electromagnetic propulsion. And then on top of that, we do researches for the particle guns and the ray guns to have, or to go away from the torpedo-based fleet that we currently own. And this is going to be something, so for example, I need to research the patrol vessels now, which is going to unlock fleet combatants. I think fleet combatants should be available. Yeah, we can do fleet combatants, and I want to unlock the battle cruiser and the battleship and the cruiser here. And maybe even the... we do need improved shipbuilding techniques still. For which we need advanced aerospace. Okay, this is going to be delayed. We are not going to do this. The benefit of improved shipbuilding techniques is a project that's called Rapid Shipbuilding Materials. So ships are built 25% faster. We want that relatively soon. We already have the project for +5% available, which was something in the... Yeah, I think I picked that on the priority list, right? Robotics here, yes. So we want this one as well. And then we have 30% faster shipbuilding speed. And now let's do some federations here. We are unifying or rather federating the policy direction, the provinces in the Caribbean to each other now, with the US here. And that's going to be quite helpful, because afterwards we can unify them into Jamaica and later on into the US, when we have the Great America project, which is still far away because we didn't go into the direction of great nations yet, so we are not anywhere close to this now. But the benefit of this is now that we not only this was more or less wasted now, but we can just go for the mission control here now, because they of course get the automated finished space program here, but most of them already have one, so that's not really doing or changing much here. But we are preparing for unifications here, and of course we want the Central American project soonish as well. That's something we have to aim for sooner or later as well. the important thing is these claims are, except for Nassau and Wilhelmstadt, these are all friendly claims, so we can absorb them here. Perfect. Now let's rush forward. I have a lot of construction to do with our Mars bases and then the shipyard, and the last one is going to be the not the last one. I'm going to do the material research centers, then the shipyards, and then I'm going to do the science stations on Earth. When this is done, I'm going to talk about it because I want to showcase what I have constructed and why, so that if you in your campaign at that point know what to aim for. Okay, I want to highlight that I got a little bit lucky with orcs, so I had to spoil the US and Canada quite heavily for a mission phase, and or rather, I got lucky that they stay. I got 2 very big orcs available here now. It's the Orbital Resource Extraction Inc., giving us a whopping 10% mining bonus, and we have the Speaker Resources, which gives us a whopping 5% bonus. So this is really well. We're going to think about what can we afford to lose for the moment, and I have to go through my other things here as well. So for example, I could sell this one. I also can sell these 2. I'm going to do this so that we can buy this one here, going as 5%. Let's see how much nobles we will get from this. 78 will go up to 84. Yeah, plus 6. That's definitely something. And let's find someone else where we can put that orc into. We do have 1 free here. I don't really see anything we can get rid of here right now. So I'm going to aim for things that give us projects. For example, this one here, because we don't need those. These 2 would be something to get rid of. It would be worthwhile. We could consider selling these. At least this one. It's a good one, but we have better now. And then we can unassign this one for the moment to buy the Orbital Resource Extraction here, giving us plus 10%, so we expect to have plus 12. Yeah, really good. So we have reached 51% bonus mining now. We should get a bit of command back by investing our experience here, so that we stay at 18. We're probably gonna go up over time, but now this has been a really nice boost to our noble income, and we are going to get another 50% here in the next 4 weeks, so that's really great as well. And this will solve all our problems pretty quickly now. We do have a massive metal income, we have good fissiles, we do have decent volatiles. That's going to be our next problem most likely, and we have a decent water income for now. We can fix the water and the volatiles long term by settling, for example, Cirrus, if it's still free. Now, the servants have arrived here, and we should send a probe there. Yes, let's do this. But these sites here will be useful because they will provide a lot of volatiles and water. Dropping down 4 bases here would be worthwhile, unless we just go to Jupiter instead. If we mine Callisto, for example, we are going to get everything we want here. We even get some decent amounts of metals and nobles here. It's not remarkable, but it will add up over time. And if we really are desperate for metals, noble metals, we can go to Io here, which has a lot of them. And Ganymede I never checked. Ganymede is also decent. I know that there are some moons here which also have a lot of nobles. We can check them out. Prospecting. Yeah. Ooh, there's Hertha and Psyche. Yeah, I scouted them, right. Could also go to these ones here still. But I think I'd rather prepare for jumping towards Jupiter again, which is going to happen now as well. So a lot of techs are going to finish, and I'm going to go into the Helican drive and into the railguns and prepare everything we need to have a proper fleet or proper ships to fight something like a dreadnought next time they send it against us. And the material science stations are also done. The asteroid The shipyards are under construction. If we check out for the Earth shipyard here, we can see it. Everything is getting done. We even have a farm and an ops center now. And then a few shipyards for the upcoming fleet. The next nobles that I'm going to get will go into the rework of the science labs here. And I will start with social and with Xeno, and then info and life later, to slowly work my way through this. There's going to be a lot of clicking, so I have to see how everything works out. And I have to really calculate how many do I have, because I only need as much that I get the investment, of course. So we only need 5, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they give 6% bonus, so we only need 5 information science research centers. So we can, therefore I have to calculate, okay, I can put 3, for example, in here, and then the other 2 have to go in here. And then I can upgrade 1 Xeno, for example, here. And that's going to be a lot of micromanage that I have to do here. And then when this is done, I will go back to the Mars bases here to continue the research build up, which is all going to come in within the next year. So if I check the research campus here, at 180 days until they come online, these are going to be a massive boost to science. But it's still our noble metal bottleneck for now, which is holding us back here. And what I would be curious about is how much money do we make here? Minus 35, so we do have a money problem here long term. So maybe I'm going to consider making a second nanofactory on the Earth bases here. These are positive currently. With a second nanofactory, these would be vastly positive, because I think we are going to have excess building slots here when all the upgrades of the research stations are done. And then we can have more money, because we're currently already on a deficit, which we cannot fix quickly. I mean, I could push a lot of investment points into funding here to get a passive income over time. We even have 20% bonus investment into funding. But if we calculate this, it's 16 money per year that we get as a bonus, which means every investment point we put in here will generate around 1.3 money per month. So we more or less have to invest 200 investment points in here just to counteract the balance of minus 300. But there are some projects that are going to allow us to finally put money or investment points into funding. Or not investment points, but our influence by direct investing into funding. So currently it would cost us 35 per point, which is quite a lot. So for example, we can currently make, let's see, we can make around 100 investment points here in one go. That would fix a lot of the money issues that we currently have. But there are technologies that are going to make this more efficient. And these ones are the ones I want to aim for now. I'm not sure the name, a regulatory capture. Right. Influence cost of direct investments reduced by 25%. And strategic lobbying, another 25%. Therefore, we can immediately dump into the US more or less 200 points of direct funding. And that's what I want to do here. But we need a rival law. We have this, so we are waiting for this tech. Unless it's already unlocked. No, it's not yet unlocked. And strategic lobbying is also not unlocked yet. Another solution we could do, let's see if they are really not there. We have also crisis diplomacy still. Transnational investments is for the money part of direct investments, which we don't have yet. And we can also do management research for a bit more control points here. No, they are not unlocked yet. So we are waiting for them to be unlocked. And then we can do the direct investments here, which is just going to be a few months. In the worst case, I could consider finding an Exodus person and talk to them. Maybe they have these projects unlocked, but I don't think they have them researched yet. that would be something we can do
Standing
as
by for
well.
orders.
But I don't have anyone available right now, and I am currently quite busy with breaking Brazil here. So that's going afterwards. I maybe search for someone from Exodus to trade technologies with them. Maybe they have what we need here. But now I'm going to speed forward and get started on the reworks of our space station here, while we push our global tech to shipbuilding. We have reached January 2032, and I have reached a milestone here because now all Mars bases are upgrading towards the new status quo. We can already see the first finished ones, for example the Mars 7 base here, and we can see that we are generating 770 signs and we roughly pay 65 money for it. And you can see here that we overall have a decent surplus of resources here, and we get some signs out of it and so on. And of course, now we also get a project, so we have a decent income of everything from these bases. And if we look at HEPs now, I also refactored all the Earth bases already. So these are also going to get upgraded and will finish soon. Or most of them are already finished, by the way. Ah yeah, they already finished, so our output is going up now. But let's check this in detail. On Mars, we do now have... So they are generating 70. And the first 6 are done. And 19 are about to come. So roughly 19 times 70 is, let's say 20 times 70. It's 1,400 signs that we are going to get here when all of this is done. And this is baseline signs, so before modifiers and before distribution bonus, which is 60%. Distribution bonus, you get 10% per category that you invest to. We have 1, 2, 3, and then run 3 projects here. So 60% bonus. Therefore, this is going to be a lot more than 1,400. And we are going to see a lot of bonuses towards science output. So you can see now we have a lot of research bonuses here. For example, we can see here we do get materials. We get 54 from HAPS and 36 from orgs. For Xeno, we do have 65 from HAPS, 45 from activities, 10 from orgs. Military, we do have 50 from HAPS because we made exactly 5 HAPS and 10 from orgs. And now we also already are at 112 research speed bonus here, which was already higher, around 130 before, but I have started to move out orgs. Instead, there will be a lot of Mars bases finishing up, which do not yet produce a project, so this bonus will go up further. And I think there's also some stuff still missing here. Layer defense array. Now, some stuff is still under construction here, but we have most of our research bonuses done. There's a bit more Xeno coming in, more nanofactories and so on. Therefore, everything is progressing now. There's also a bit of... Oh no, it's mostly the reactors here, which I still need to finish for the nanofactory and the operations center. So that's all good. But I think we are going to get close to 10,000 science here when everything is done. So let's see where we exactly will end up when everything is done. And now I want to push down the US to 2.5 inequality, because then we should be around 5 cohesion with our rest value here, which we do want to reach now, so that the research is optimized, and then we can slowly start pushing out some more knowledge again before we meanwhile we also invest into mission control, of course. I still didn't get my investment project, so I'm waiting for this still to then invest into funding here or here, depending on where it's cheaper. You only get 14 here, but it also costs less. You also have Mexico here. That's 35 here as well, with only 14 as a gain. And global research-wise, we are pushing hard towards the Helicon. So after superconducting magnets, we can go into the high energy electromagnetic propulsion, which is going to give us the Helicon. And we also can go into the ray guns after kinetics here. And also, or theoretically, we could go into coil guns, which is already the second tier of ray guns. So maybe I'm going to just jump forward. I also consider going into plasma weapons here now. But I have to consider where to start fusion now. This is going to be something important as well. We're also slowly pushing towards diamondoids, which is going to get us the best armor we can make for our ships. And so, in general, we are pushing a lot of projects, but one project has to go to fusion soon, one research slot, and one research slot has to go towards social science projects so that we can unify the United States, for example, with further stuff. So we build up our Earth presence further, because right now we are still relatively slow on Earth itself. But we are going to get the next quest, their purpose, pretty quickly now. We are investing 70 per day now, which is of course 2,100 per month. So it's just a handful of months until this one is done, and we are still getting more research bonuses either from projects or from the Xeno stations that are still waiting to be finished here. But this is now a very, very important milestone, as this is going to accelerate stuff a lot. So let's just jump forward until more and more stuff finishes, and we can see the impact of that right away. Okay, here we go. The revolution in Brazil has finally happened that we were aiming for. And let's see what actually changed. So we got all control points now, which is barely over cap. And we can see here that the inequality went down by 2.2 points. That's extreme. That's a lot. Cohesion went up by 4.6 in the rest value and 2.7 by the actual value. The government score didn't change. Unrest, of course, went down a bit. And now we can fix it, or rather we can continue with the rest. We are not going to do any spoils. We are going to do mission control, of course. I don't think that we need to do welfare. We can do a bit of economy and we can do a bit of knowledge. So let's also do a bit of government here, like a tiny bit. And a tiny bit of unity. And now we are going to build up the mission control in Brazil, and we own this one, which is the biggest state in the South Americas, which we already owned. And also we own Bolivia, which is preparation for the later unification programs here, of course. This is nice, so we can use this one to build up more mission control in South America already. And we do have a low inequality state here that's going to be helping us pulling down the inequality of the future South American Union, let's say like this. So next step will be to fix the unrest here, for which we have to send a lot of unrest missions here, but that's something we can do easily. And all the time a lot of stuff is going to finish here from the modules that are under construction. And we finally also stockpiled a bit of noble metals here, which is also nice to have. And we see here that constantly stuff is finishing, be it shipyards, be it modules, and so on. Okay, we do have a problem on the horizon. It's the Dreadnought and the Battlecruiser, which already shred apart our Jupiter presence, now flying towards Earth. And we have 135 days to prepare for it. And we only have currently 3, 6, 7 of our torpedo class escorts here. Of course, that's a bit more than we had on Jupiter, where we only had 4 or 5. But we were only fighting the Dreadnought. We were not fighting the Battlecruiser as well. The good thing is the Battlecruiser only has 3 additional lasers. So under the assumption that in our Jupiter fight we would have won with maybe 2 more ships, we could take out the Dreadnought if it was alone with the fleet that we currently have. We also have 2 point defense escorts already here, so that's also helpful against the mech shots that are going to come eventually. Luckily they don't have torpedoes. But we have to defend against this. And luckily for us, I pushed out the patrol vessel ship classes, which are the monitors and the destroyer and the frigates. We do not have nose weapons yet, unless we count the kinetics, which I don't want to count. So we do have either the destroyer or the monitor or the frigate here. And we're going for the monitor because this one only uses hull weapon hardpoints, and we have 120 days of construction. The destroyer, for example, would take 135 days, so that would be a very tight and close call if we do it like this. We are going to do whatever we want here to call it. We're going for the grid drive, of course. We go for the usual solid core fission reactor. For now, at least. We need this much energy, though. Yeah, let's see. If we make 5 Pelon tanks, 5 engines, then we can't use it. Okay, so the energy demand is too high here. Radiator will be the nanotube filament one. Then let's do utility later. We only have the stuff available that we already own. So of course we are going to do even more Artemis, but this time we can load 4 of those modules in here. We are also going to nose weapon. We go to the Baron Carbide armor, which we are just going to put 1 into it. Resource cost wise, that's still really reasonable. And then I think we just put 3 magazines on it. So, this ship here will load 15 torpedoes each. So this one has 60 torpedoes on it. Let's call this emergency boat. Let's hope that can save our Earth presence here. Let's construct it. The emergency class boat can be built in our shipyards that we luckily upgraded, so it's 120 days, therefore it will be barely in time before the ships arrive. I think I also built 2 on Mars here, just in case. We can still cancel them, but having is better than not having here. And yeah, so we can squeeze out 4 of these monitor class ships, which is good, I guess. And of course, the 4 monitors are in total. And 1 monitor is equal to 1 escort here. So 1, 2, 3. We can more or less double our fleet presence here within 120 days. That will be very interesting if that is enough to break the Dreadnought or the battle cruiser. I highly doubt it though, which is a problem. And we don't really have a lot of other defenses on Earth there. What we also can do is we have to now push the strategic deception project here. The strategic deception is the same that we had to do with the operational, whatever it was called, operational security, I think. So it gives us 20% more leeway with the aliens here. Remember that beforehand, the score went up from 100 to 125. Now it would go up from 100 to 150 that we can afford. So we would be barely in this if they don't like us. If we didn't do anything against them recently. So we might barely scrape by getting out of alien aggression if they maybe take out 1 or 2 stations. Maybe. But we have to see here and observe what will happen. I think there's 1 more project after strategic deception, which I think is called Mashkirovka. But maybe there's a 3rd one and I always forget about it. So we are going to push this one hard. It will be done in April, so in like a few weeks. That will help us. But everything else, I don't know. Let's see how this will play out. Maybe in the next episode, maybe in this one, depending on what else is happening now. Okay, we have reached their purpose. And that's going to be the last one we do in this episode. And the fight against the big ships will be in the beginning of the next episode. But let's read it. We have been able to solicit invaluable information from the alien captive, thanks to a discovery that the Hydra falsehood carries unique parasite signatures. Because it transpires that the Hydra will rather go silent than be caught lying, as far as we can tell, an unsuccessful deception is a source of great shame, it has been surprisingly straightforward to establish which matters the alien is relatively willing to discuss, with full confidence that it is not deceiving us. In consequence, we have now gleaned significant understanding of its species' intentions on Earth.
We finally understand why they are here, Commander.
We have analyzed the Hydra's responses to our previous interrogation, have overcome several hurdles. We have added words to our vocabulary, and believe we should now be able to convey and understand slightly more complicated concepts. Clarify subjugation and reason. Neutralize threat. Human threat negative. Incorrect. Potential threat is still a threat. Dictates that preliminary stage is the ideal stage to neutralize a threat. Humanity exhibits aggressive, unruly behavior. We recognize this pattern interstellar aggression is a matter of time. Incorrect. Fractures under influence. Lack of consensus. Humans flee your solar system. Humans subvert your resistance for profit. Humans fight for advance of our goal. No consensus, no victory. Consensus lacking, irrelevant, human resistant, and negative. The Salamanders believe the same. Now they serve the Hydra. First threat to strike the Hydra. First threat subjugated. Many resisted. Those salamanders you see now are fortunate. Salamanders who did not obey are reduced to tribalism. They will never again be permitted to become a threat. Likewise the Griffins. Before our guidance, they nearly destroyed their species. Knowledge of biological weapons could not be permitted to leave Griffin homeworld. Wistful Salamander, Griffin, human subjugation, reason clarified. Wistful melancholy. The Salamanders took our homeworld. Hostility drove them to Xenocide, fire, horror, scream, disaster. Consumed judges, dancers, artists. Hydra, beauty, cult, history gone in an instant. Reminding Hydra on colonies and habitats. Reached immediate consensus, never again. Okay, so we do know why they are coming against us, because something bad happened to their homeworld, and they don't want to let that happen again. So now we are going into exotic materials. We have done we got Mashkurovka, and I'm pushing this hard with all the research that we have to maybe be able to avoid the fight against the Dreadnought at the Battlecruiser, but we are going to see in the next episode if that is gonna work. I guess not. But yeah, we're going to see. So until then I have delayed some other things, like we have gone into nuclear fusion now. At least the first project for this. There are a lot of very expensive projects behind this. I started on Unity movements leading into great nations. And I'm doing high energy electromagnetic propulsion to get the Helican drive unlocked. And yeah, so all research is now progressing. Mashkurovka's coming in. And I'm also researching the first raygun batteries to prepare for better ships soon enough. And most of our bases, as we can see here, are now done. Some nanofactories here in Earth orbit are still getting done, but they are going to finish in a month, which we really need, because we are currently at minus 700, which will not be a problem as of now, but it will eventually. And then we have, I think, 3 more research campuses which are missing. Yeah, some nanofactories. Oh no, a few more research campuses are still on their way here. But I was wrong, we are not going to reach 10k with that, but we do have 6.5k now, which is still a big deal. Most importantly, because we do now have 160% research speed from the project bonuses here, and more or less over 50 to 100% on all categories. Like social engineering here, or social science, we do have 112, which is quite a lot, especially for a global tech where we don't get the project bonus. So this is even 43 now. And of course down here we have almost the double of this, which is a lot. 228 per day. That are numbers we could have dreamed. We could only dream of about 1 or 2 episodes ago. I also shifted towards more knowledge now, and therefore boost up our science output even further. But now, leave a like and subscribe, and see you in the next episode, where action will hit Earth most likely.